somebody. We had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that, because look, childcare is childcare. It's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country. Because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about. We're going to be taking in trillions of dollars, and as much as child care is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in. We're going to make this into an incredible country that can afford to take care of its people, and then we'll worry about the rest of the world. Let's help other people. But we're going to take care of our country first. This is about America first. It's about make America great again. We have to do it because right now we're a failing nation. So we'll take care of it. Thank you. Very good question. Thank you.
And thus ends the 6th grade book report presentations. Little Donnie obviously did not read his. Mika, that took me back to, I must admit, freshman year at college, I was supposed to read a book and went in, and Dr. Bryant asked me what the book was about, and it was something about the Habsburgs, or I don't know. But it didn't end well, and then he goes, what did you think of it? I go, not a good book. Not a good book. I would not recommend it. He goes, and then he said, could you hold it up? I held it up, and he said, that's a penguin book. Aren't penguin history books considered to be?
It's easy to devolve into joking, but really, what the hell does he say?
But I'm saying, he sounded just like he was doing a book report in middle school and had not read the book. He has no idea what he's talking about. He's rambling incoherently, and that is who people... by the way, I've just got to say, too, because it's a pet peeve, the man who promised to pay down the debt and balance the budget in 2016 raised it more than any president in the history of this republic. Now he's going, oh, because of my high tariffs, because of my high taxes on working class Americans, my high taxes on middle class Americans, we're going to balance the budget quickly, and we're going to make so much money I don't have to even talk about child care.
Yeah, that's the one where you go, you know what? I actually didn't read the book. May I present on Monday? Can I have the weekend, even if you knock me down a grade? Because this is going to be embarrassing. And by the way, remember, one of the core arguments about Kamala Harris that you hear in certain cable news channels and websites is that she's always in the middle of a word salad. Do you ever watch Donald Trump? You may want to give up on that argument. Do you ever watch his rallies? Did you watch him yesterday? Had absolutely no clue what he was talking about, and then brought it in for that landing. By the way, tariffs, which now apparently is the foundation of how he's going to pay for everything, including child care, are a tax on consumers in this country. Conservative economists tell you that too. They hate the idea. He's talking about growing an economy. We have to finally have growth. Well, 2 days ago, Goldman Sachs said if Donald Trump becomes president, the economy will not grow. If Kamala Harris does, it will grow. That's Goldman Sachs. That's not me. That's not us. Those noted socialists over at Goldman Sachs say the economy would be stronger under Kamala Harris. So, yeah, I mean, he doesn't obviously have any idea what he's talking about when it comes to policy. And you wonder at what point, even yesterday we saw online conservatives, Joe, and some Republicans saying, rolling their eyes and saying, what is he talking about here? If you push even a little bit on policy, you find out he's an inch deep.
He just doesn't know. And Gene Robinson, again, as Willie said, Trumpers will talk about word salad as it pertains to Kamala Harris. Let me tell you, there is no comparison. Donald Trump, not only that answer, but in most rallies, he's about 3 feet deep in lettuce and ranch dressing. He is in the middle of a word salad that he can't get out of. And to a more important point, he has never understood, well, let's just go through it. He's never understood American history. He's never understood the Constitution. He's never understood our founding documents. He's never understood policy, and he's never apologized for not understanding policy. That's one of the reasons why when people say, oh, I support Donald Trump, why? Well, you know, I don't like him as a man at all. He's a terrible human being, but I like his policies. His policies, really?
Yeah.
I mean, there were very few policies. It was gesture. It was 99% gesture, 1% policy.
Absolutely. So, Joe, War and Peace by Count Leo Tolstoy is about war and about peace. And peace is better than war. But war is more exciting. And, you know, it was absolutely absurd. I mean, you listen to that, and he clearly has no idea what he's talking about. And this idea about tariffs that he has, which is wrong, 100% of, or as Donald Trump would say, 110% of economists will tell you that he's totally wrong about tariffs. It is not a tax on foreign companies. It is a tax on American consumers. It's a regressive tax. It's a horrible tax that affects low-income and working-class Americans more than it does more affluent Americans. This was at the Economic Club of New York. I mean, how did those people who were listening to him not just like gag or laugh, or how did they keep a straight face listening to that ridiculous nonsense? I have no idea.